Well, I just came down from Thunder Bay. I've been living on an island all summer, and I'm here to talk to you about perseverance and reinvention. The journey to restore and preserve history is not new, and since the beginning of time, people have been preserving things, memories, anniversaries, and artifacts, or in the organization that I work for, a lighthouse with a flashing light on top. But creating a sense of place and economic development requires a long view, one of perseverance and reinvention for sustainability. Canadian Lighthouses of Lake Superior, or CLLS, preserves 3 lighthouses on Lake Superior. The organization's desire is to have a legacy that the community can benefit from. A blinking light from a tower is playing its role when you're lost at sea. By engaging these markers, we can help illustrate that without these lights, our society would not have been as prosperous. Lighthouses are isolated from the general populace. In literature, they are often cast in a nostalgic light. It is within this space between the land and the sea that the imagination takes off. But we have to be a bit more pragmatic in our approach to get results. Modernization of the lighthouses has made redundant dwellings and outhouses and associate docks. CLLS has petitioned the government to help connect local lighthouses back to the people with a mandate to preserve, protect, and promote them for public use. While reflecting our heritage through the families that once operated in these often isolated and desolated landscapes, there's certainly no lack of challenges in the journey to share these heritage sites with the general public. But to reach the summit of success, whatever you deem that to be, is also an act of reinvestment and reinvention. Traveling up the St. Lawrence and through the Great Lakes, you'll reach the lakehead and the city of Thunder Bay. And from the First Nations copper trade to more recently the transshipment of grain commodities, lighthouses still share a role in playing a direction for the seaway. It's the lighthouse keepers and the buildings in which they used to live and work that we're preserving, as lights themselves still work to protect that key passage, no longer requiring daily maintenance. Our challenge to promote superior lighthouses are many, considering the grip that still is held by the public psyche regarding Gordon Lightfoot's popular song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's a melody about the loss of life that reverberates 43 years later. Superior is a lake of many moods, often cool, detached, and remote. Now, how do you sell a bucket of cold water? We start with the histories of our Lightkeepers family to invigorate and energize our 650 annual visitors. It's through those human struggles and perspectives that we're able to showcase a much wider and more diversified offering to our visitors. We look at our lighthouse operation as a destination first and foremost. The attitude allows us to see the big picture by offering a wider perspective of opportunities to explore. We know the lighthouse is the star in our show, but we have other supporting roles that can provide a sense of imagination and to engage our visitors further. Take, for instance, the Lake Superior saunas, which appeared out of the necessity for immigrant Scandinavian workers to stay clean many years ago. This season, we celebrated that history by building a sauna of our own to celebrate the history of woodcutters, fishermen, and mineral hounds. Having better amenities provides a comfort for people to stay longer and gives more value for the visit. One of the first layers we put down once our basic cleanup was completed 5 years ago was to add an artist-in-resident program. We didn't reinvent the wheel, taking the lead from other arts programs. We had managed to create a more diversified attraction for visitors. We've been able to amplify our Lighthouse Island story through the eyes of the artists, giving our group added perspective and revenues. Our linkage with other groups and organizations has provided some financial support and direction. We've worked with Parks Canada, Lake Superior National Marine Conservation Area, to help define and provide a greater visitor experience for our guests. The National Conservation Area has provided us with help in preserving our lighthouse history while showing us how to continue to conserve our natural resources. To reinvent the old fog alarm building situated on our primary site at Porphyry Island, we created the Gordon Graham Gallery and Theatre, named after a former lightkeeper, and we feature local artists' work. We also showcase a CBC documentary focusing on the life and homeschooling of children filmed on the island in the 1980s. Sharing these stories is important. It helps visitors imagine the challenge of living on an island 25 miles away from civilization. This year, we were able to reach our full mandate by providing access through a shuttle service at $150 per visitor. Guests are given a 1.5-hour interpretive tour, lunch, and time to take in the perspective of the sleeping giant. Being on an island isolated means you have to come up with some promotion on the mainland, and why not use a retired Coast Guard ship? In 2017, the Alexander Henry returned home after 60 years to the lakehead to much fanfare. The Lighthouse group took the opportunity to educate visitors on the fact that the ship was a lighthouse supply vessel and would ferry keepers to their post each season. To commemorate their memory, we built 2 12-foot models proudly marking the entrance to the museum ship, and also provided an extensive interpretive display on the role of the vessel. As a takeaway, we provide lighthouse lure for purchase. In conclusion, we could not have done it alone. It's been with the great support from the Ontario Historical Society that we were able to incorporate and register as a charity. We're grateful that an organization like this helped us to continue to move forward. William Murtaugh, who was considered a father of our conservation movement in the United States and who helped to shape the National Historic Preservation Act in 1966, said, "At its best, preservation engages the past in a conversation with the present over a mutual concern for the future." We believe we're doing just that.